You've turned their pages, now hear their voices. We have Elijah. Hi, Elijah.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, hanging in there. Excited to be here.
Well, thank you for giving me the chance to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Um, Tell us all about your books because honestly, you're so active on TikTok and you are always so kind to everybody in every space that you're in. And I love that about you.
Well, apparently, I wrote a series. Book three is in, hopefully, the final editing stages. Um, and thank you. I try to be kind to everybody. I know what it's like to dive into a lot of different chaos in my own life. And you never know what anybody's going through. So you just try to, you know, be kind and be nice, treat everybody the way you want to be treated. So, but yeah, let's dive into it. So, the Shattered Veil series, it's a dark romantasy, and it's centered on a reincarnation love story in which gods and an empire are trying to burn everything to the ground. And it takes place in our world, in the modern day. But being the historian that I am, I wanted to create a story that um, I could use the knowledge that I already have up here to expand upon where a lot of mediums get the mythologies wrong. Um, but more than that is I wanted to create a love story. I'm a sucker for the old school style, Disney love stories. And I'm a huge believer in your person, you meet them in different forms throughout lifetimes. And that's how I feel about writing this story. And my wife and I, Rebecca McCord, who is also my editor and is also coming out with a Southern Gothic horror later this year. Always got to plug the wife too, and she is she's been amazing. And I honestly wanted to capture a little bit of our love story into the books themselves. And like I said, it takes place in the modern day. It takes place with my male main character, who is Ilya Dragovich, and he is from Serbia, and it centers in Belgrade, Serbia, is where the whole thing starts, and that's in book one. That's the Heir of Ash and Thunder, and the prologue to the Heir of Ash and Thunder. It's one of their past lives. My Ilya's and my female main character Danica. It's their past life, the end of their past life, and it rolls into chapter one, and we meet Ilya Dragovich, who is 17 years old, and he is in the kitchen and he is watching his father die of a heart attack. When I was 17, um, I was a month out of high school graduation, and I basically did the same. And I lost my dad to a massive heart attack. And I'm not going to lie, I trauma dumped a lot into the first chapter. Um, and I've been told by numerous people that have read the first book that they did not expect to be so emotionally crushed and destroyed in between the prologue and the first chapter. Um, and Ilya goes and what happened to me is when that happened to my dad, I ran into a room, I locked myself in a room, and I screamed into the void. And with Ilya, he watches his dad fall and die in the middle of the kitchen. And one of the first lines is that thud, that sound will never leave Ilya's head. And he runs into the forest in Serbia, and the world starts to shift around him, and he is met with five Slavic gods who come to him one by one. Um, Veles, who is the god of the underworld in Slavic paganism. Perun, who is the king of the gods in Slavic paganism. Lada, who is the goddess of love and the spring, and Morana, who is the goddess of death and winter. And then he meets the Zoira sisters, the goddesses of the dusk and the dawn. and they all tell him, you have a power. You are more than this. You just have to basically remember where you came from, your past lives. You have to remember them. The memory is your weapon. It is your power. But there's also a warning that Morana gives him, that the one he thinks is his love is not, and she is the enemy who he has faced throughout lifetimes. And immediately in chapter 2, we jump 15 years. And in that 15 years, Ilya has decided to go. He went to college. He became a professor. He is a professor of comparative mythology at a university in Belgrade. And he teaches these myths that he chalks up to meeting those gods as nothing more than a traumatic night as a child that he had to go through. And all of that is, no, there's no way it really happened. I didn't really meet gods. It is what it is. I'm past that now. I've healed. Until Danica, a PhD student of his, um, brings him an artifact. And the artifact dates back to the Viking Age. And she says, "This was mailed to me, no return envelope, nothing, but I think it's yours." And when she says that, she doesn't mean that they meant to mail it to you. She literally means, this is yours. I don't understand how. And he kind of looks at her like she's batshit crazy. Because I'll be honest, I would look at somebody like they were batshit crazy too. And the best way I've heard it described from a reader of mine is that for the first 4 chapters, I really thought that Ilya had schizophrenia. And she's like, and then chapter 5 hits, and everything started to make sense. And it will once you read it. I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. But um, everything starts to fall apart. He starts to have visions. He starts to be awakened, if you will. And I can't give you any more than that without spoiling it for book 1. But I have used a bunch of different mythologies in book 1. I use Slavic, Norse, Celtic, and Greek mythology. We get to meet Aphrodite, and not the Aphrodite that you are normally accustomed to. Yeah, she is still the goddess of love, goddess of lust, the goddess of beauty. But the Spartans didn't just worship her as a goddess of love and beauty. She was worshipped as Aphrodite Area, who is known as Aphrodite the warlike. And that's a theme that we see throughout the mythologies, love and war. You look at Freya in Norse mythology and Nana in Mesopotamian mythology. And that's how the Spartans show Aphrodite, and that's how she shows up in my book. She is Aphrodite the warlike. And chapter 9, you really get to meet Aphrodite. She has, there's multiple POVs. I have Ilya's point of view, Danica's point of view, and Aphrodite has her own points of view in a few chapters. And it was one of the more fun things that I had, that I had the pleasure to write, because having the knowledge and studying these mythologies for years, and now teaching those mythologies, I dive so far deep as to find these little nooks and crannies into the mythologies that people may not be accustomed to, but they were actual part of the mythology. Um, in fact, in book 2, which is the Oath of Ash and Thunder, takes place immediately after book 1. And in the Oath of Ash and Thunder, we actually get to go to some of the mythological realms. We get to see Olympus. We get to see Nav, which is the Slavic underworld. We get to see Asgard. We get to see Hades. But I also introduced a character that most people will know by the name of Kratos. Now, we all know him from the video games, right? But Kratos was actually a god in Greek mythology who was not a god of war. He was the personification of strength, power, and political power. And moreover, he is Zeus's enforcer. He was there when Prometheus was chained. He's the one that chained him to the rock. And that Kratos shows up in book 2. Now, I added a mythology as well to book 2, Finnish mythology, and a character from there. His name is Lemminkainen. And Lemminkainen in the Kalevala which is the Finnish Pro Zeta. He is this hero, this fantastic hero who's also kind of a dick. And he's that kind of a stereotypical jock. Like, here I am, I'm big and badass. I'm here to fuck shit up and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. But he was a really fun character to write for book 2. And then, like I said, June 6th, we will be, hopefully June 6th, that's my goal. We will get to the legacy of Ash and Thunder. And man, I just did the edits on this, and whew, writing books 2 and 3, there were multiple chapters that I wrote with tears in my eyes, trying to get through to just get these emotions into the books to keep with the emotion of book 1. They are a dark romantasy, and they're also very literary. Book 1 is 154,000 words. They are thick. And I wanted to create this epic, dark fantasy romance that people could relate to, even though there's mythologies and there's magic and there's all this fun stuff. People know what it's like to go through a relationship and struggle. And my main characters struggle. No relationship is all butterflies, sunshine, and rainbows, as we all know. And the main thing that I want to get across is that when it's your person, when it is your fated lover, you will burn the world down to keep them safe. So that's where we're at with the series. It is going to be a trilogy. However, Rebecca and I have decided that we're going to write 9 prequels and go through all of my main characters' past lives, stemming all the way back from mythological Greece in through Mesopotamia, Rome, medieval time, medieval Serbia. We are going to touch on the Viking Age, which is the one Rebecca is extremely excited to co-write with me. Yeah, so that's where we're at. And then, of course, Rebecca's dark Southern Gothic romance, or I'm sorry, speaking too fast. Her Southern Gothic horror, The Devil in Glory, will be hopefully coming out late August, early September.
That's absolutely amazing that you guys can do that together. And not only that, but hearing you be so passionate about mythology is so refreshing. Like, I love mythology, but specifically Greek mythology. So when you're over there, like, talking about Morgana and all of them, I'm like, yeah, yep, yep, yep. Like you're talking my language. Hades, I think it gets too bad of a reputation. But that's just my take.
Listen, Hades, at least I can say he loved Persephone.
Hmm.
May not have got her the right way, but, I mean, he's not Zeus, he's not Poseidon. We'll take it.
I mean, people give too much credit for fucking Zeus, and they don't realize that he's literal shit.
100%. And I think that's one of the cool things, though, in Greek mythology, that people tend to, back then, they feared the gods.
Hmm.
It wasn't like, yes, they would make offerings to the gods and they would go to the gods for help and things like that, but they truly feared what the gods were capable of.
Hmm.
And I don't think you see that, like in Norse mythology. Yes, there is somewhat of a more of a respect for the gods rather than a fear. But in Greece and by extension Rome, we see a lot of fear-based worship in comparison.
Hmm. I 100% agree. And I do have your book on KU.
Oh, that makes me happy. So
I've had it on there. Just life. I've already told you, like, so many times life has been lifing the past year. Has
believe me,
been,
I understand.
yeah.
So
And I'm so scared. I actually stopped reading your book because of the first chapter. And I was like, I don't know if I'm mentally stable enough.
um, I'm not laughing at you. I am
Oh,
laughing with
no.
you because that has been one of the biggest things that I have heard is that you have to be mentally prepared for what's coming because it is the entire first 4 or 5 chapters are setting up the entirety of the trilogy. And there is a lot of world building. It is a bit of a slow burn, but I don't feel like it's slow to the point of boring. I feel like, from what everybody's told me, is that it has caught their attention, and they're like, "Okay, what the fuck is going on?" And
Hmm.
that to me is like a huge compliment, 100%. And one of my really good friends that I've met through TikTok is that LA girl, and she does
Yes,
author
I love
spotlights.
her.
She's amazing. Who? So Ray is. She was one of
Love
the
her.
first people to give me a platform. She does her author spotlights, and she was doing her first spotlight, had an author cancel, and she's like, "Hey, would you be able to jump on in like an hour?" And I'm like, "Okay, no problem. Like, yeah, I'll come up and talk about it." And that relationship has just been amazing. I mean, her, RW, the whole crew, honestly, for Rebecca and I have been in absolute just. I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for us and the platform that she's given me. In fact, she's read through book one, and the facial um, expressions that she made while reading the end of book one will live in my memory forever. Um,
She's really freaking great. And she's so supportive. Like, I love Ray. She's great.
Absolutely, that whole crew is just, let's get everybody out there, and let's push everybody's stuff. It's not, well, RW is my husband and I'm just going to push his. No, and she does push his, and rightfully so. If you haven't,
Yeah.
have you read the Pendragon Prodigy yet? You need to. When I tell you, like, it I'm not done with the first book yet. I'm reading through it, but um damn.
You just like, I have so many books in my TBR. Um, but like, as you know, when life is lifing, you're not mentally in the headspace to read, where you try to read and nothing is grabbing your attention because you can't even focus on that because it's loud up here. But so I have so many books I want to read, but I'll get there,
Yeah,
you know?
it's 100%, and that's been one of the things since I've met all these amazing human beings, is that so many different authors with so many different stories to tell. And I was always more of an audiobook guy. In fact, Rebecca and I are going through the Dungeon Crawler Carl series right now, and you know this has really opened me up to a lot of different, because I'm an academic at the end of the day, so a lot of the stuff that I read is going to be nonfiction. It's going to be academic papers, things like that. But since I've written the books, I've kind of opened myself up more to fantasy. And man, I will say RW, he grabs your heart, rips it out, and puts it back together very well, and then leaves everything else on the. I mean, just, I am blown away. Like, the man is a brilliant mind, and same with everyone else in that group that has written. Nuggy is one of my favorite people of all time. Um,
Little Nugget's great.
she's amazing. JD Torres, aka Riz, he's amazing. Dez, I mean, all these people, and that's the thing. Like, with as an independent author, having a platform and people to support you, and also you supporting them, like it's such a give and takes type of deal. And um, having that group of people, everybody wants everybody to succeed, and that
Hmm.
is something that, like, you don't even get with blood family sometimes. Um, Earlier in the year, Rebecca was diagnosed with POTS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and mast cell activation, and she unfortunately has been out of work since December, um, due to all that. Um, and it's been hard, but on it, like, we have a GoFundMe, and it's been that group that has stepped up, pushed it out, donated, and been there for us, um, pushing all of the things for us, and really just being there as a support group whenever we've needed it. And I mean, I try not to tear up thinking about it, but like, um, man, it's just been incredible, just absolutely incredible.
I'm so sorry you guys are going through that and Rebecca's going through that. Um, but you're right. You actually do have a big support system behind you guys. And we're more than happy to keep rooting and do everything in our power to keep supporting. Um, and we honestly love you guys as family, like all of you guys. And if there's ever anything that we can do to rally for you guys, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's, sometimes reaching out, that's kind of like one of the hardest things to do.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my ring light to actually look like I'm not some kind of alien.
You don't look like an alien.
I guess we'll leave it at that. But yeah, so, you know, we've been very fortunate with that. And, TikTok has been, I don't even know. I mean, I've been on Instagram too, and like I've gotten support through Insta as well, but TikTok has just been, between all the VAs and everything else. Um, Man, it's overwhelming. And to be an author, you're always telling your story and you're always pitching your story. But a lot of the times when we're all in the room together, it's just, we're just hanging out, and you've been in
Hmm.
there, and that's what's so
Hmm.
awesome. So also, I'm going to plug my upcoming TikTok live for Monday. Every Monday, Rebecca and I are putting together Mythology Mondays. We had our first one last week, which I thought was really awesome. So we're going to be doing that every Monday going forward. And this week we'll be talking about the Norse and Finnish gods. So if anybody in your audience likes mythology, then they should absolutely come check us out
Oh, I
on
know so many
TikTok.
people into mythology. The biggest one sitting right here. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yes, come on
Right
now.
here. So make sure you send me a share because homegirl has a big girl job. So if I don't work, I'll be in there supporting and
$100%.
learn. I mean, even if people think that they know all about mythology, you don't, because there's always more to learn. Like unless you are like the biggest history buff ever.
But even
You're
even
like, shut the fuck up. I'm right here.
um, even so though, like there's things that I don't know, and a lot of like the Finnish mythology, Rebecca has actually studied. She has a minor in anthropology, and
I retract my last statement.
um, but yeah, she teaches me a lot about all these things that I don't know, and we're kind of a team like that. We've always kind of bounced back and forth off each other, and it works.
Aw, you two are so adorable. That's cute.
Her much more than me, believe me.
I mean, you guys just compliment each other, and I think that's what makes love so beautiful.
We really do. And I mean, if
Not to be a sap.
so these are all of her editing marks in book one. And like the last thing she left me, because I will warn you that book one does leave on a cliffhanger.
Oh,
I know.
Elijah.
I know. But hey, book two's out, so and book three is gonna be out in like 2 months, so it'll be fine.
I mean, in a term of endearment and rage.
I know. I'm used to
Hmm.
that. And I also keep my DMs open as well, so if anybody reads it and then they get pissed off at me and they're like, I cannot believe you fucking put me through that, DM me. It's fine. I'm used to it. But Rebecca's last words to me in book one. Let me see if we can see it. There we go.
You fucking asshole.
Yep.
Yeah. Hmm. Honestly, it's the highest form of. We were actually just talking about this. It's the highest compliment.
Yeah.
Like when you can sit
100%.
there and you can cuss your authors out. Now, listen, I'm going to keep repeating myself because it's important. There's a thin line of like, you fucking asshole. And then there is a difference between going into an author's messages or tagging them in horrible reviews or saying nasty things. Don't do that. Nobody wants that. You can be joking, you can be sad or cry or whatever, but don't be a dick.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, honestly, if you're going to be a dick to me, I'm going to be a dick right back, so
Clock it. We love matching
fuck
energy.
that to you. Uh, and Rebecca's the same way. She is, yeah,
I had no
she
doubts.
suffers. She suffers. I love her to death. It's funny because she's almost 5'10". I'm
Oh, she's
five
tall.
four. I call her my Valkyrie.
I love that.
And in fact, I'm gonna read you a little snippet from book three. And do you do that? I just gotta find it real quick. Do, 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 do. Thank you. Um, she paused, sword raised. Why are you laughing? Why the fuck are you laughing? She asked again. The doors to the chamber exploded inward, and a quartered elite soldier flew through the opening, engulfed in flames, screaming as he tumbled across the stone floor. The fire wasn't natural. It was cold and hot at once, burning with ice and fury. They both turned toward the shattered entrance. I grinned through the blood filling my mouth. Because, I said, my Valkyrie has arrived. So that's just a little snippet of the legacy of Ash and Thunder.
I love it. How did you start doing accents? Like,
Honestly, when I was a teenager, I came up with the idea to try to learn accents. And I am Croatian and Serbian, so learning that accent was not very difficult for me. Um, there is a difference between Russian. Russian is more accentuated, where the Balkan accent is more down and low and very just right here. Um, yeah, I can do an okay German. It's not too good, but it's a little bit of work in progress. Yeah, and then of course you've got your proper English accent, which you can do a little bit, and um, you can switch it up and go Cockney if you want. Um, and of course, you've got a Scottish accent, which makes all the people excited for it. It's a little different from the Irish. Irish is more here, you know. You're a little bit more in the ups and downs with the words. Um, but that's a few of them that I can do. My favorite is, of course, the Balkan Slavic accent.
Why don't you get into VA? Like, why don't you get
I've
into voice acting?
I've honestly thought about it. I really have. Um,
Do it. Do it. There's so many people who need accents, right? And then
yep.
there's people not like, I hope none of my voice actors are listening, but there's some that like you just hit it, you know what you just do it. Just do it. Like you're going to be
I
busy forever between writing and voice acting that you won't even have to teach. I mean, granted, I'm sure
I
you love
mean,
it.
honestly, I'd love to retire, but it's something that I've thought about, and it's something I'm going to talk to Rebecca about over this summer while I'm off from school. And if it becomes something that is feasible, then I'll do it 100%. But um, right now, though, I'm sticking to straight writing. Uh, we will see if this changes in the future. But as of right now, uh, Elijah Stepanovich is just an author. Possible VA in the future. But that
I'm going to literally DM you all the time and be like, "Where are you at in this process? Get off your ass and go do it."
I appreciate that a lot. Um, but yeah, so we will see how that happens. I can do quite a bit
You
of a good Southern too, if that is needed.
see? Yes, and you go into them so freaking easy.
I've been doing it for 20 some odd years, and it is what it
Then
is.
put it
I
then
know I should
put
put it.
it to use.
You know, I should get up off my ass. I should go out there like I'm going to park a car at Harvard Yard and just say fuck it. But I don't
Fuck
know.
it.
We'll see.
Do it. I'm literally going to be DMing you about this shit until you do it.
I appreciate that a lot.
Every time I see you, I'm going to be in the comment sections too. Start fucking being, or I'm just going to request a box and raise and be like, "Let me talk to Elijah for a minute.
Uh,
Get you a fucking mic."
so before I leave, because I do have to unfortunately go, but I do want to show the hardcover editions of book one and two.
Oh yes,
Um,
please do.
this is the hardcover of book one.
I love that.
My favorite part is the actual case cover because I took the Peronica symbol and I wrapped it around the whole book.
I love it.
I'm a little bit of a stickler for making things look pretty. All the covers I did myself using stock images through Shutterstock and Canva and all that. And then book two, The Oath. As you can tell, the Peronica is a little shattered. There's a reason.
I love it. Don't, Elijah, don't tell me things like that.
Well, you'll have to read it and find out, you know. And then, of course, the case cover has the Peronica covered by Laurel, with the veil shattering, ripping down the center of the spine into the other
I
side.
love it. Listen, when I get more mentally stable, I will read it, okay? But the mental stability is just not there yet.
I understand. I do.
Well, I appreciate you being on and talking about your books, Elijah, and tell Rebecca hi for us,
I
and we
will.
will see you around.
And thank you for having me. Anytime we can set this up again, I'd love to come up and talk about new projects and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca should come on too.
I will let her know.
I love Gothic.
I've
All
read
right,
it,
well,
and you will tell her the same thing she told me. You fucking asshole will be your words at the end. That one, let me tell you, I don't get pissed off reading books a lot, but having read it, knowing how everything goes, fuck. Look, you got months to prepare, okay?
oh, mm-hmm. Okay.
And you can recover a little bit after mine. So,
Or put me in a book slump and never pick up a book ever again.
nah, you'll be all right. You'll be
Okay.
fine.
Well, thank you, Elijah. I appreciate you being
Willow,
on.
thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.